Fans came to Minnesota on Sunday clad in Caitlin Clark gear to cheer on the Indiana Fever. They were treated to a fever upset of the first-place Minnesota Lynx, spearheaded by a great effort by Aaliyah Boston. The Fever returned from a 6,053 deficit in the fourth quarter, outscoring the Lynx by a more than 10-point margin. During this match, Caitlin Clark not only set a new record for the lowest number of points scored in a game, but she also came closer to breaking another record for the highest number of points scored. In addition to that, she demonstrated to the coach of the United States of America what she is capable of and what she will be lacking during the Olympics. On top of that, Caitlin had some words for it. They improved from 3 wins and 10 losses to 11 wins and 14 losses in order to work toward the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Lynx dropped to 16 wins and 8 losses, which is half a game behind the rising Las Vegas Aces for first place in the standings. The coach did not hold back after the game, and the win was the Fever's 8th in a total of 12 games. Conference of Western Nations, the Target Center, was completely packed out, and although it was not a pro-Fever audience, there were a lot of supporters there who showed their support for the squad to the point where Lynx and Squad USA were able to attend. In response to a query regarding the anticipated increase in the number of fans attending the game, Coach Cheryl Reeve was asked about the anticipated spike of excitement. The road team received applause, and she made the following statement: "I couldn't care less about it." Reeve stated that not even one, well, Reeve, you probably should have provided it just like you, our viewers, should give one about us. So why don't you hit that subscribe button and help us reach 1,000 subscribers? Thank you for the predictions about A. Crazy away crowd came true before the game as Clark worked her way through the crowd, signing autographs for fans who were wearing Fever and Clark shirts. As soon as Clark grabbed the ball on the opening point, Indiana fans sang their support for the Fever. The Fever then took a 20-9 lead in the first quarter, and the game was tied at the end of the first quarter. 38 minutes before halftime in the third quarter, Minnesota took control of the game. Despite Clark's struggles from the field, Clark had scored 7 points in the first 3 quarters, and the Lynx led by 63-53 heading into the fourth quarter. However, the Fever dominated the fourth quarter, outscoring the Lynx by 28-4 in the final 10 minutes. Clark started the game with a 7-point lead in the fourth quarter with a 3-pointer, and then gave the Fever a 6-7, 6-5 lead with a driving layup with less than 7 minutes left with 254 seconds remaining. The Fever then reclaimed the lead for good, 7-3, 7-1 on a Boston layup that was assisted by Clark when Clark was fouled in the waning seconds of Indiana's victory. Opponents of the Fever erupted. With 17 points, Boston was able to dominate Indiana's offensive. 16 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 blocks are listed. With 21 points, Kelsey Mitchell was the most prolific scorer for the Fever. Caitlin Clark had a difficult time performing throughout the first 3 quarters of the game that took place on Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings. Thankfully, there was a 4th individual. The Indiana Fever was able to maintain their position in the WNBA postseason race because to Caitlin Clark's 17 points and 6 assists, which helped them win back-to-back games. In the fourth quarter, Clark scored 10 of her 17 points, which led the Indiana Fever to an 8-1, 7-4 victory against the Lynx. During the fourth quarter, Indiana defeated Minnesota by a score of 28-4. With Clark leading the way with an amazing offensive performance during the quarter in terms of scoring, Kelsey Mitchell led the Fever with 21 points, and Aaliyah Boston contributed 17 points, a career-high 16 rebounds, and 4 blocks to help the Fever finish strong and secure yet another victory. Bridget Carlton and Alana Smith were the ones who spearheaded the Lynx. In scoring with 18 and 17 points respectively, and a late 3-pointer by Kayla McBride kept the home team in the game, but the Fever eventually held on for a comfortable victory. Clark, who played her first WNBA game in Minneapolis against a Lynx squad coached by Cheryl Reeve, the head of the team, took the opportunity to speak after the game. Despite the fact that they were controversially excluded from this year's Olympic Games in Paris, the United States women's national team made the statement that the Olympics are still a dream. That's what you dream of as a young kid, getting to represent your country, they stated. Obviously, both Boston and I had the opportunity to participate on the junior national team, and Clark recalled that we had gained that experience. Know how exciting and how cool it is to wear the United States of America across your chest, but she stated that she is still focused on improving as a player. She said that it gives you something to work for and something to dream for. Additionally, she said that she feels like she can continue to get a lot better, and for me, that is my primary focus, and that's what I'm most concerned about. What makes me excited the most moving forward in time to say that Clark's reversal of form in the fourth quarter, which helped her side recover the lead, was outstanding is an understatement. It demonstrates her character that even when things are not going well at first, she is even able to step up in the last quarter to make the difference this time around. This season, she has led in some great responses on social media, displaying some of her astounding statistics. It was Caitlin Clark who scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. 1 steal and 1 ankle breaker, in addition to 2 assists and 2 rebounds. Caitlin Clark's average number of assists per season with 7. The WNBA is currently led by the 2022 led NCAA, 23 led NCAA, and 2024 led NCAA, and 2024 led NCAA ATTA. 8 assists a game over the past 8 days. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever have defeated 3 teams that included S7 Team USA players and the Olympic coach. When they named the Olympic team, I might accept the argument that Caitlin Clark wasn't among the 12 best WNBA players. Nevertheless, what I would say is that she was one of the finest players in the league this year. Contested right wing Caitlin Clark's clapping in Minnesota and telling the Road Fever fans to make more noise as they are winning in the closing seconds is a direct strike at dopey Lynx coach who shunned Clark from the game. However, at this moment, she is definitely in the top 12 or even in the top 10 of the rankings. Today, athletes from the Olympic team made a stupid joke regarding Fever. Clark's presence on the court has been the primary catalyst for the turnaround. The #1 overall pick entered Sunday with 5 consecutive double-doubles, establishing herself as possibly the best passer in the WNBA. Clark's presence on the court has been the primary trigger for the turnaround. Clark had only 6 assists on Sunday, which was her lowest total in over a month, but her determination to win paid off in the fourth quarter. As a scorer, Clark has not yet scored 25 points on a consistent basis like she did at Iowa, but her progress in her rookie season has been remarkable. The Fever will play a role in the outcome of the game. During their final game before the WNBA All-Star Game and the Olympic break, which took place on Wednesday in Dallas against the Wings, Clark threw her shoes to a fan in the stands. Fans have experienced the Clark effect throughout the WNBA season, and it is only going to get better as the Fever continues to turn their season around. This game also took place. Cheryl Reeve, the head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, was going to get a personal look at Caitlin Clark, the rookie player for the Indiana Fever, because she was not selected for the United States of America basketball women's Olympic squad. This meant that Reeve would be able to see the Caitlin Clark influence on the Women's National Basketball Association, WNBA, for real. He was among those who were strongly criticized for leaving Clark off the roster, despite the fact that she had only a minimal amount of experience playing in the WNBA. The Mayan Medcafe on ESPN asserted that before the Lynx were hit with the Fever, he questioned Reeve about the possibility of Clark making appearances during the national team. Reeve appeared to sneer at the inquiry. Why in the hell would you do that? I respond to a question about the national team by stating that I am wearing Lynx and that I am the head coach of the national team. However, I am not the chair of the committee. Does anyone who is interested in anything else want to venture into anything else? Additionally, Rev downplayed the so-called Clark effect at Target Center, which was an obviously poor choice given that her team suffered an early defeat. I also mentioned the record, so let's get familiar with it while it's still popular. Although she was able to assist her side in winning the game, Caitlin Clark was criticized for her poor performance in the first 3 quarters of the game. Clark also established a new record for the most turnovers in a single season in the WNBA, which was a forgettable performance. After throwing out 6 more assists against Minnesota, the 22-year-old prodigy surpassed the WNBA Great Sue Bird's record for the 2nd most assists by a rookie in a single season. This is a tremendous feat no matter how you look at it. Skeptics had to seize on the fact that Clark's day was not without triumphs. Doubt, which is why Clark was asked to remark on it during her post-game news conference. Nevertheless, the Fever star's reaction to her most recent accomplishment was quite cool, and it was definitely something that I won't remember. Clark answered when asked if it meant more to her that she achieved her most recent accomplishment. A significant event in Minneapolis, to be quite honest. That is just Clark being brutally honest with you. With so many records already under her belt and with more to come, this one doesn't really move the needle for the Fever superstar. She now just needs 32 more assists this season to shatter the rookie mark of 225. I don't know what to say. It's cool. This record was broken by Tia Pinheiro in 1998 when she set the record for assists in 30 games. With her 7.8 assists per game, Clark will have 15 more games to attain this goal, and she will undoubtedly reach this level by the conclusion of the season. Will she be able to shatter this record, and will Cheryl Reeve come to regret not taking advantage of this opportunity? Please share your thoughts with me in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to receive additional WNBA news. What do you think about Clark's participation in the Olympics?